Hey there, Riverman fans. I'm Jason Ruff, and welcome to the Dry Dock Podcast. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Ruff. This is the podcast where we discuss the 40th Riverman season that was, get a chance to sit down to talk with some Riverman greats, past and present, and get a sense of where they're at, how their summer has been going, and maybe even preview this upcoming season number 41, as the Peoria Rivermen look to defend their President's Cup title. Our next guest could be discovered or could be discussed as Peoria royalty. He is the son of the great Darwin McPherson, a President's Cup champion. I, of course, am referring to Mitch McPherson. Mitch, great to see you, my friend. You're looking good. How's your summer been going so far?
Ruffer, thanks for that intro. Summer's been good. A lot of traveling at the beginning, but now just got back to Peoria and ready to start to get to work and prepare for next season.
And congratulations, and a welcome back match should be in store for you. Recently announced you re-signed with the Peoria Rivermen. I know it was probably an easy decision, but what went into that decision to re-sign with the Rivermen and Coach Yonki Trudell for this coming year?
Obviously being from here, it made that decision a little easier. But you with the guys coming back like Hags and Levy and Coach Gee still being here, made it a really easy decision to come back and try and repeat for next year.
Mitch, you've been on a number of really good Riverman teams, but what was it about last year's team that made them so special from just a team and personnel standpoint? Talk a little bit to us about what made that team so special, from just the guys in the locker room to the coaches on up.
Yeah, last year's team was very special team. It started, I think, with the culture in the locker room that our leadership would bring every day, and just getting the boys ready during the week, being prepared for the games Friday, Saturday, and being able to leave it all out there every weekend, and then come back prepared next week and do it again.
I was talking with Eric Levine about this topic, seems like a month ago. It was, or thereabouts a month ago. But it just seemed that so many of those guys, and you yourself included, were just so loose and willing to be around each other. I always think back to that coffee club when we filmed that little expo for Levy's and Cody Dion's coffee club. Seemed like the entire team was a part of that, and just how loose and how friendly and just how together everyone was. I use that word together a lot, but I'm sure you'd agree that that's really what those guys were. There were no like bad personalities on that team. Everyone got along. It seemed like everyone had each other's back.
Yeah, we really were a family too, and I think that helps a lot and goes a long way, especially with ups and downs that come in the playoffs when you're that close and that tight knit like that. That helps a lot, and like you said, the coffee club I think is a good team building thing. That the guys come in every morning, they have a cup before practice, and then you just talk about what's going to go happen that day, what's going on in your lives, whatever. And I think that helps a lot, and ended up helping us a lot in the playoffs.
Fun fact: it was actually me seeing that first put the seed in my head. It's like, this team could do it.
Yeah.
It because you don't win a championship if you don't have that it factor. And there are a million definitions for what the it factor could be for a team. That just it just, I don't know, I can't even describe it. Just flicked a switch in my head. But Mitch, looking at that season as a Peoria native, as someone who grew up literally with the Peoria Rivermen and playing hockey in Peoria, I asked this to Alec Hageman last week. I'm going to ask it to you. How impactful was it to finally hoist that trophy and bring that President's Cup home to the city of Peoria?
Uh, yeah. I mean, obviously, extremely special. I've been watching this team since I was a little kid, and I watched them win the last cup in 2000, the Kelly Cup, and I was able to be there for that, and I've seen them kind of, have really great regular seasons since they've come to this league, and then not always been able to fulfill that championship in the playoffs. And to be able to finally pull through and be able to do that for the city of Peoria and the team, all the guys that have been there for so long, trying to accomplish that goal, and finally being able to get that done last year, it was really really special feeling.
Let's talk about you for a brief second. You're one of those guys who every time I see you in the offensive zone, you are right in front of the net. I mean that's your game, a gritty, hard-nosed style, sit in front of the net. How much of that do you get from your father, Darwin McPherson, and how much of an impact on your development, your game did your father have on you?
Yeah, I mean, he coached me pretty most of my life growing up, so I got him teaching me firsthand, day in and day out, and he was a tough player also, so I kind of picked up on that and just kind of learned to play hockey kind of like how he did back in the day. So I think that's helped me in this league, especially to be able to kind of hold my own and do my job in front of the net and down low, and not take any crap from anybody.
Absolutely not. And you could also make the argument you got a little bit of that from the dirty South in your days with the Amarillo Bulls. That's something that you and I share. We both came up from the Null South. What are some stories that you had from your time in Amarillo that you can share with us? Because that was a very good organization when you were there, and you were part of some good Amarillo Bulls teams.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Null South is definitely I would say the toughest division in the NA.
Yeah.
And when I first showed up there, it was actually with the Texas Tornado
Yep.
with Nick Neville, and we actually won a Robertson Cup with that team our first year there. So yeah, the some of the guys my first year in Texas, we had some pretty scary guys on our team, and there's some pretty scary guys in that league. So it's uh it's definitely translated pretty well coming to the SB.
Were you at all surprised about the support you got? Because normally you don't think of the state of Texas as a hockey hotbed. I mean, it's high school and college football territory. I mean, that's what Texas is, and there's no change in that. But were you at all surprised at the amount of support you got from the folks, from the Texas Tornado fans or the Amarillo Bulls fans? Because that was one of the biggest things that struck to me when I first got to Odessa, was just the passionate support from the fan base and the people of Texas.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were amazing. The Dallas area is definitely a little more uh, football heavy focused. Some of the high school stadiums there are just insane. But up in Amarillo, the fans there were always crazy, and I love playing for them and playing against them. It's a tough building to play in. That's for sure. Getting Bulls balls thrown at you every time that Amarillo scores, and all that stuff. It's definitely a tough building to play in, and you hate playing there, but once you play for that team, you absolutely love every second of it.
It's the song. It's the goal song. Was it
Yeah,
something in Cowtown? I
big balls in Cowtown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was. I learned to hate that. I learned to hate that song after a game when the Jacks, I think, had like 8 goals scored on them or something.
yeah, yeah.
You
That
learn you
sounds
quickly
about
learn
right.
Yeah, you quickly learn to hate that song.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, moving back up towards this summer, what have been your summer plans going for? Obviously, we're approaching the end. It's late August. We're coming up on September. Before you know it, it's going to be October 21st, and the season's going to be starting. What has your summer been like so far, and how have you been getting ready for the coming season?
Yeah, right after the season ended there, it was kind of a lot of traveling to begin with. I had best friend's wedding. Me and Nick went to in Hawaii. We were in that wedding, so we were there for a couple weeks. Then came back, and then another one of me and Nick's friends from juniors had a wedding in New York, so we were out there for the first time. And then now things are finally starting to settle down, and back in Peoria now. So now I'm gonna start to really dial into the season and get ready to try and bring that championship back to Peoria.
So give us a look behind the curtain. What do you think Riverman fans can expect from this year's squad, at least at the early outset from it?
Yeah, I think right now our team's shaping up and looking pretty good. We got some really good defensemen that we've signed already, and then obviously we got our leadership intact with JM and Hags and Levy coming back. So I think things are looking really good to start the season right now.
October 21st and 22nd can't come soon enough. And seeing you back on the ice right in front of the net, taking crap from no one, that can't come soon enough. We can't wait to see it. Mitch, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you on the ice here soon in the regular season and maybe a bit sooner for training camp.
Perfect. Yes. Hey, thanks for having me, Ruffer.